I'm going to try making a flowchart for part of my program here. Specifically, I'm going to look at this function and I'm going to write a flowchart for just this. So I'm in draw.io and I've made a new document. We've got the general flowchart shapes here, which are more than adequate. There's also flowchart shapes down here. I'm actually going to use one of them. I'm going to use the start one. I don't think anyone's going to notice if you use this ellipse instead. It looks pretty much the same, but I'm going to put in there start. Nice. So first things first, I've got these variables here that are being passed as parameters. Now I did look this up and tried to find the best way of showing this in a flowchart, and what they recommend, it's one of the good reasons for opening this flowchart section, is to use this annotation block here. So if I put this annotation block and then I start writing in it, I can put in mir. I should actually say what these things are. So this is an integer mir and integer atch. I should have said atch first. Should do it in the same order, really, shouldn't I? I don't think it's going to hurt though. Integer x. So that's saying that those are being passed to this. I think we're going to go with that. We're going to call that good enough. Right, did that join up? Yes, it did join up. So that's showing us that we've got these variables being passed. That's all this bit is. These are parameters which are being passed into this function. So next thing is to have a if statement. So if statements are always, invariably, and never anything else, a decision box like this, or a diamond. So my if statement, I don't put the word if in there, I'll put the same question. So I'm going to put, and it's always a question. So in this case, it's whether x blunt number of credits is greater than 14, and always put a question mark. Because if you can't put a question mark after it, it's not a question, and therefore it shouldn't be inside a decision box. Did I make that join up? No, so I'm just going to join that to there. Okay. One of the fun bits of doing flowcharts is getting stuff to line up. 1 pixel out. Why would it do that, eh? Never mind. So I'm always going to have, for any decision box, I'm going to have 2 things coming out. There's a yes or a no. Otherwise, again, it's not a decision. Alright, so you're doing it wrong if you don't put 2 exits. And so this one I'm going to put as yes, and I'm going to put the little bit of text in there. If it is yes, and hopefully that will stay there, I'm going to put a thing that we do. And there's always a discussion about what kind of box you should use for the different things that go on. In my particular case, I'm going to use I want to use this parallelogram one. Yeah, why not? And this is going to say return excellence. So it's actually saying what we're going to do within the program. And I'm going to join this to that, and it kind of stops there, that one, because it finishes execution of the program, so I'm going to live with that. Now there are arguments for doing different shaped boxes here. Alright, the typical shapes are, this is the ellipse for the start and stop, decision boxes are diamonds, and just a normal rectangle is the action thing, and this is for input and output. If the shape of your flowchart is about right and what's inside the boxes is right, they're probably not going to get pinged too hard for something like this shape of box when maybe something else would be arguably different. However, if you don't use a diamond box for a decision box, that's really confusing. That's a bad flowchart, so don't expect to be getting merit and excellence if you're using the wrong shape there. Right, so that was the yes, excellence is greater than 14. Can I just move that along so it looks a bit neater? Yep. And then we've got the no, which is the else if. So I'm just going to put another decision in here. Where's my decision gone? This is the else if section, so I can join this up to here. Again, 1 pixel out. No, dead straight. And I can say there's no point in writing a whole paragraph in here. I know what my condition is, and it's reasonably obvious. Sometimes you get into a little bit more detail than that, but anyway. And we carry on exactly the same. In fact, quite often you can do a bit of copy and paste, and I wonder if I could get away with that here right now. Let's just try it. If I take this whole section, Control C, Control V, oh yeah, that's nice. So then can I pick the whole lot up? Ah, everyone hates working with this kind of stuff, but yeah. So I can now get rid of that line, join that line to here, and this one I'm going to modify as excellence plus merit greater than 14, and that's going to return, dang it, oh, I hate this stuff. I hate it so much. Working with Draw.io is annoying in every way, but it is also the least annoying flowcharting software I've come across, which says a lot about the other flowcharting software that you might come across, which is really even worse. And obviously I'm going to carry on the same for the next couple, and then we're all good. Okay. Now lastly, back down here, I've got this menu, and this menu calls a function. It's got view endorsement. So if I just was to do a little bit of a snippet of what that might look like, so I might have a decision box just to reinforce this idea here. So is menu choice equal to 1 question mark, because it's a question, and it's got to have an exit as well. 2 exits, a yes and a no. One of them is going to be the else if, so we're going to have that kind of same question going on. And this one is going to be calling a subroutine, view endorsement, which is a function which is here. Okay, so I want to denote that without having to put that whole thing into the whole into here. So what I'm going to do is grab predefined process, dropped that over here, and what is it? View endorsement. And if I was passing any parameters, I think I'd try and make that clear as to what was being passed in here. And let's just make sure that joins up. So that I've just done here matches with just that little bit there. Hope that's enough to kind of keep you going. One thing I haven't done is while loops here. I think I'm going to do a separate video for while loops.